morning and welcome to the LNG Marketplace Weekly News Flash. Here is the latest news we have selected for you from all over the media. MCS Cruises has signed an MOU that will see an LNG-operated fuel cell used for the first time. At the steel cutting ceremony of MSC Europa, MSC Cruises and Chantiers de l'Antique unveiled the R&D project named Packboat that focuses on integrating a new fuel cell technology demonstrator on board the LNG-powered MCS cruise ship. This demonstrator will produce electricity and heat using LNG. More about this project you can read on Riviera Maritime. Another piece of news from the same website is also about new technology solutions. The naval architectural and marine engineering firm Vard Marine has completed the concept design for a new ocean-going LNG bunker barge being built by Fincantieri Bay Shipbuilding. Part of an articulated tug barge unit, the ocean barge will use a coupler system to connect to a suitable tug and will be operated by North Star Midstream Marine Transportation Company Polaris New Energy for refueling LNG-powered vessels. The delivery of the bunker barge from shipyard is planned for November 2021. According to Reuters, Angola has formed a consortium with 5 international oil companies, including Eni and Chevron, to develop liquefied natural gas for its Soya plant, the newly formed National Oil, Gas and Biofuels Agency. The consortium project is aimed to start the production by 2022. German energy giant RWE has delivered its first cargo of LNG to Britain. The cargo was loaded from Sabine Pass liquefaction terminal in the Gulf of Mexico and transported to Britain on the Gaslog Savannah LNG carrier. LNG will be regasified through the Milford Haven LNG terminal. This piece of news we found on Energy T Life News. According to Callanish Energy, China's Suntian Green Energy Company Ltd., a wind power producer and piped natural gas distributor, plans to build an LNG receiving terminal in North China by 2023. The company, backed by the Hebei province government, joins a handful of Chinese companies outside the dominant state energy giants, looking to own and operate a receiving facility for LNG, of which China is the world's second largest buyer. With LNG as fuel set to grow after 2020, Southeast Asia's first LNG bunker vessel will enter service over the next 2 years. As the clock winds down towards 1st of January 2020 implementation of IMO's sulfur cap, Singapore and Malaysia are jockeying to be Southeast Asia's regional LNG bunkering hub. Both countries are anticipating a major uptake in LNG as a marine fuel as more ship operators shift towards alternative fuels to comply with stricter emission regulations. More about it you can read on Riviera Maritime. China and France signed deals worth $15 billion, which include plans for an LNG terminal and storage. According to reports, ENGIE and Beijing Gas Group signed a memorandum of understanding for collaboration on an LNG terminal and storage in the northern city of Tianjin. ENGIE is also said to be looking into supplying Chinese firms with membrane technology used for gas leak prevention. Another deal involves Total setting up a joint venture with China's Shenergy Group to distribute LNG by truck in the Yangtze River Delta. This piece of news we found on Callanish Energy. According to Reuters, Argentina's YPFSA has loaded its first commercial LNG cargo for export from a new floating LNG unit located off Bahia Blanca. This follows the news in June earlier this year when the company successfully exported its first test LNG cargo. The cargo, loaded from the facility in October on Excalibur LNG tanker, is now moored off Bahia Blanca. The details of the buyer are not currently available. This news we found on LNG Industry. And last but not least, an interesting article we found on Hellenic Shipping News called Rebooting What's Possible in India's Gas and LNG Market. Enjoy reading. That's it for this week. Tune in next week for more news, and until then, thanks for tuning in.